Hello, my name is Ozzie, and today we are taking a first look at Elite Dangerous Alpha version 4. I've actually pre-recorded the gameplay due to some difficulties with crashes and things like that. It's a little bit unstable, but it did just come out, so I'm sure that'll be fixed in time. And another problem I have is while I'm actually trying to play the game, I find it difficult to concentrate and figure out what I'm supposed to be saying as I play. So I figured it'd be easier if I just got in, did my recording, and then record this afterwards. So we'll get straight into the video, and what we'll be looking at is the hyperspace that has now been put into the game properly. So in the previous alphas, it was basically just pick a destination and you just warped there instantly. Now you actually have to, take some more steps to use your hyperdrive, which I'll go into shortly. There are now 5 accessible systems for you to travel between. You can also trade between those systems. The trading system's all up and running. There's also the Super Cruise, which is another form of travel used to navigate within a system to get between planets, moons, stations, asteroid belts, or whatever other signals are in the area. And there is the galaxy map, which you can actually use to explore the whole galaxy. To the best of my knowledge, it is everything that will be in the game. You can't travel to 99.999% of it, but it's there for you to look at, and there is a lot to it. So we'll start off with the trading, and for the 5 systems available, there's 1 station in each system. As far as I know, maybe some systems have more, but I think it's 1 per system. And each of these stations have their own commodities, depending on the system itself. And there's this whole supply and demand thing going on. There's a whole economy. So in any given station you can buy things that are in high supply for relatively cheap and sell things that are in high demand for a really good price. So to start off with, I'm in an agricultural system, so there's grain and things like that are all nice and cheap. So I buy some grain, I fill up my cargo hold, which isn't much. I can only buy 5 units, but that's almost half my money anyway. So the money you start with, you don't start with too much. So I fill my cargo hold up with grain and basically aim to sell that somewhere else that needs it. Of the 5 systems that are available, there's 1 of each of the following. There's agricultural, extraction, which I assume is like mining, refinery, which I assume would take the mined ores and refine them into metals, industrial, which probably use the metals to create goods and services, and high tech, which probably also require stuff from refinery or industrial areas. And I've just figured, for argument's sake, agricultural, grows food and what have you, is probably needed everywhere else that doesn't have much of its own agriculture. So that's why I bought the grain, figuring it'd be good to sell. But I can already see how you could probably sort of plan a route, starting off in the mining system, buy the ores, take them to the refining systems, sell them, buy metals, take them onto an industrial system, sell them, and you can probably make a pretty neat profit that way. So we'll look at the galaxy map, where we can see each of these 5 systems I just explained. And the controls for the galaxy map, it took me a moment to figure it out because I'm using a joystick, and it didn't actually occur to me that I should try using the mouse to control the galaxy map. But by default, you hold and drag the left mouse button to rotate the galaxy view. You use the right mouse button to sort of pan vertically along the y-axis, and hold both mouse buttons and drag to pan along the X and Z axes. You can use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. You've got the freedom to explore the entire galaxy, as I mentioned before, so you can zoom all the way out and see the whole galaxy, and like zoom in like just anywhere you want. I sort of looked around there near the center of the galaxy where it's like really heavy clusters of stars, and I mean, you can see zooming in there are just so many stars here, and they're all there. You can click on them, you can see information for them. Well, not a lot of information, but you can see some. So it's just, you know, amazing how much is here. I believe, fully zoomed out, the area that we can currently explore is like 2 pixels on that entire galaxy, so it's nothing. What we can explore is big, there is a lot to see, but in the grand scheme of things it is nothing. You can also search for systems using the search on the left, so you can find our own system doing this. You can't actually see in the systems and like see what planets there are or anything. You can just see the actual systems themselves and where they are in relation to each other. But it'll be pretty cool once the game comes out to sort of visit Sol and, you know, sort of fly among the planets we know. I certainly look forward to doing that eventually. There's also display filters that can either, you know, toggle between showing like the actual stars, or I think it's like they're color coded based on who controls the systems, and the size is probably like either how big the star is or how big the system is. I don't really know, but you can change the views using some of the options there. So anyway, once we've decided where we want to go, you can actually select a destination within the galaxy map, or you can select a destination using the computer on the left-hand side of your ship. But if you want to go to another system, you need to use your hyperdrive. So the first thing you'll need to do is select your destination and wait for the hyperdrive to charge up. Before you can actually jump, you need to have your ship lined up. So there's actually a compass just to the right of your radar, and there's a little yellow dot, and basically you want to have that yellow dot in the middle of the compass. So once you're facing your destination, you then need to get up to full throttle before the drive will engage. And once that happens, you get a 5-second countdown, and then you jump into hyperspace, and it's an absolutely gorgeous animation traveling through hyperspace. You know, from all the different space sims that I've played, this is, you know, my favourite that I have seen. I just love this animation. And at the end of it, you'll arrive in your target system in the new Super Cruise mode, and I think you always arrive like sort of near the star in the target system as well. Now with Super Cruise, basically I think you're still travelling faster than the speed of light, but you know, you can still sort of steer. You've got to watch out for celestial bodies. If you get too close to a star or a planet or a moon or whatever, you will actually, you know, not crash into it, but you'll get pulled out of Super Cruise, and that can deal damage to your ship. Maybe it is possible if you're going fast enough to go straight into a planet. I don't know, but I imagine that would not end very well for you at all. But if you're traveling normally and you want to engage Super Cruise, you do it the same way as hyperdrive. You just select your target and go up to full throttle. You don't need to face it, unlike the hyperdrive, because you can actually steer when you're in Super Cruise mode. So you get a full throttle, 5 seconds, you go into Super Cruise, and then you can start flying around the system. To exit Super Cruise, you need to slow right down, and I mean like right down to, you know, almost stopped as far as Super Cruise goes. You're still traveling like 200 kilometers a second, but as far as Super Cruise goes, that's basically stopping. and then you use the C key by default on your keyboard to exit Supercruise. And again, this was something I didn't actually know at first, and you know, I was flying around a target for ages trying to work out how to stop, because it kept telling me, you know, it's safe to leave Supercruise, and I couldn't work out how to do it. That also in the bottom left, you'll be able to see the desired distance and speed that are required to exit Supercruise safely. You can emergency exit out of Supercruise by double tapping the C key, but again, this will cause you to like spin out of control and possibly do damage to your ship. It looks like in the alpha, like this, it doesn't do any damage to your ship, but I think I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that in the full game that pulling out of Supercruise like this will damage your ship. And in addition to emergency exit, you can actually be pulled out by other players and NPCs. I don't really know the details of this, I just know it's possible, and I also know through experience that it's very annoying sometimes. Certain systems, obviously I'm assuming there's just more pirate activity, but you'll be trying to fly from A to B and you'll just get pulled out of Supercruise constantly. You can just like run away from the pirates and go straight back into Supercruise, so it's, you know, just a little bit of time wasted, but it is annoying constantly being pulled out, and if you get to a point where that does start damaging your ship, that would be really annoying. Just constantly, you know, just you die just from not being able to get from A to B, so that would really suck. One thing I also noticed, and I don't know if this is intentional or a bug, but if you're ever venting atmosphere and you enter or exit Supercruise, it resets your oxygen timer. So, you know, you start venting atmosphere, you have 2 minutes to, you know, repair or whatever, get to a safe place. If you enter Supercruise, it goes back to 2 minutes. If you exit Supercruise or get pulled out of Supercruise, it resets back to 2 minutes. Now, I'm not really going to complain about this because this helps when you are losing oxygen and you need to buy more time. You can just go in and out of Supercruise. But, you know, in terms of realism, it really doesn't make any sense why you would just suddenly have more oxygen because you entered or exited Supercruise. So I suspect that's a bug and that'll probably change. I also discovered that 2 minutes is definitely not enough time to get to a station and dock. I got really close. I got beat up, and you know, I was slowly cruising my way towards the station, constantly being pulled out by pirates, which was annoying, but also kept resetting my timer, so, you know, whatever, I'll take what I can get. But yeah, I got to the station, so exit Supercruise, I got 2 minutes to, you know, dock. I was 20 kilometers away from the station when I exited Supercruise, so trying to fly in as quick as possible, all power to the engines. Once I was in range, you know, I selected the station, requested docking. I managed to get in like really quick. Normally I like to sort of take my time lining myself up and flying in steadily, but you know, I just went straight for it. I even was lucky enough, as soon as I entered the station, I saw my docking base straight away. Sometimes when I enter a station, if the docking bay I've been assigned is very close to the entrance, so it's like immediately above or below me, I miss it, and it actually takes me a couple of minutes to find it. So, you know, I kind of got lucky there. And pulling in close, suddenly realizing, you know, I've got 10 seconds left and I need to deploy my landing gear and then position myself to land. Definitely not enough time, but you know, I do what I can. And amazingly, I managed to land smack bang in the middle of the landing pad, like perfect aim, just unfortunately going at like, you know, way too fast. So you know, I crash. I don't crash enough to die, but I was at 0 seconds remaining on my oxygen, so you know, that means your ship blows up, because when you have no oxygen you blow up, right? But you know, regardless, I died, so that kind of sucked. But yeah, wow, 2 minutes to get to a station and dock, that's not much time. It's definitely not enough. probably people who could do it, but I don't think very many people would be able to. But anyway, yeah, I mean that's all the different things. Once docked, obviously, you know, before I blew up on a previous docking attempt, you know, I sold off the grain at a different station, made a small profit, not a big profit, but you know, I didn't really know, you know, what I was buying, where I was taking it, where was a good place to sell. I was just like, whatever, stab in the dark, let's see what happens. So, you know, any profit was a good profit. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I will just leave you with another hyperspace jump, because as I mentioned before, I think the animation is beautiful. But that's it. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Warning, temperature 1.